So it's always gonna come back to like, yo, bro, you cannot split the two. You cannot split these two sides, dog. I think that's what this plumber, right, with the trucker wanted to do.
As every person in this room, we keep them employed as well. Because here's the thing, we get sponsors from these companies that have 9-to-5s, right? These companies, hold on. These companies are not viable without influencers to push the brand and keep them in business.
Have you ever worked a real job?
No.
So how would you know?
See, I have worked a real job.
What was your real job?
I worked 8 months. I worked a double. I worked Walmart and Panera at the same time for a year.
Why is she laughing? Bro, she's making me mad. Why is she giggling? I actually feel like they're wrong.
Hi, I'm Chris.
All right, Chris.
Why do you think a 9-to-5 job is not harder than what you do?
Well, you're guaranteed to pay.
Guaranteed to pay?
Yeah.
And that makes it harder?
Yeah. No, it makes it easier for you
Makes
guys.
it easier because we have a guaranteed pay.
100%. Security.
Talk about raises.
And benefits.
Makes it easier for 9-to-5 people to have a job because their pay is guaranteed.
When you go to work.
Bro, he asked that like 4 times. It's like, my neighbor, yes. That's what I'm saying, bro. What are we doing?
Every day, everyone's
So you're
like,
basing the ease of a job just on somebody getting paid
Oh, my
regularly? Is
5th
that what
time.
you-
well, let's just say that comes to perspective. If you say someone who works food, if you someone who works a doctor, it's obviously different. But if you're talking abroad, 9-to-5, someone who doesn't need a degree, yeah, it's way easier than being a streamer.
How so?
Well, it's because you're guaranteed and you don't need any crazy knowledge. You don't need to go to school for most jobs, like certain things like a 9-to-5.
You don't need to be creative or as creative. You don't, you know what I'm saying? You ain't dealing with the stress of like what comes with your audience and community, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? Keeping your image clean so that business can continue engaging with you. You feel what I'm saying? Instead of having your name defamed because even your reputation is what you depend on to continue getting paid and continue making a living. Yeah, we get it, bro. Like, what else? Like, where we at?
If you wanted to go work at Foot Locker, I could go to Foot Locker, apply, and then next thing you know, I'm selling shoes for pay every single hour.
And like you as a 9-to-5 worker, you can literally be you know, you could be a serial killer and keep your identity on the low but still have a job.
So according to you, a job is easier or harder based on the guaranteed pay? That's one.
But it doesn't make.
Yo, this old man, boy, come on, boy. This old man wants you to speak yourself into a corner, bro. I feel like I fuck with his strategy already.
But
Well,
you're not
you started
even.
with
You're not
pay.
even. You keep switching it. So why don't
I'm
you
not
answer my
switching
question?
anything.
You know, you 100% are.
Yeah.
So how is it harder if you're guaranteed to pay? I worked for 4 years of streaming. I didn't make $1.
Well, what's your definition of hard? That's the thing. It's like what
Stuff
is
that you need
difficult.
creativity. You need to get out of your circle, comfort
Sure.
zone.
Yeah.
You need to be able to actually make people believe what you believe in the sense of like, oh, this is good content. Do you watch any TV shows?
I watch YouTube.
Okay, you watch
so
YouTube.
much YouTube.
So it's the same thing. So the people that
Absolutely,
you're
yeah.
entertained by are the people like us, just for a different audience.
That's true, but you're talking about entertainment as a job. We could talk about entertainment.
This is entertainment,
as a job.
but this
yeah,
is entertainment.
Entertainment
But
as
my
a
question
job
to you
doesn't have
is
any
why?
guarantees. Absolutely.
So do you truthfully, you can sit here and think that working at like a Foot Locker or something like that, I'm just using that because that's the best
Sure.
example,
Yeah.
is harder than a streamer?
It depends on what you are saying. The
Oh
word
my
hard
god,
means.
bro, we're not getting anywhere with this old guy. He answers questions like, and no offense, he answers questions in parables. Like Jesus, and shout out to Jesus Christ, bro. Like, you know, I liked his way of answering because people would ask him a straight question and he would answer in like parables to a point where you end up admitting that you're saying whatever you want from him, but you end up saying it. That's such a, you know what I'm saying? That's like that mind play there. It's so hard.
To you because
In the
there's
sense of
hard
everyday
physically,
activity,
there's
because some
hard-
people around here said, "Oh, I got to wake up at 7 a.m., 8 a.m." Oh,
Yeah.
okay, we have to do the same thing.
Sure.
Some people do that.
And you deal with yourself.
No, we deal with millions
When
of people.
you're creating that content and you have your phone,
Okay.
you're dealing with you and yourself in that phone.
Okay, so what happens?
You're not dealing with
Not true.
coworkers and you're not
That's not
dealing
true at
with-
all. I have an
Okay.
editor that I pay who relies on me. If I stop doing
Which
any
is
type
later.
of content, he loses
So when
a job.
you go to your job, when you go to work, rather than punching a card, you pick up your phone or you turn on a camera.
Okay, so when you punch the card, let's say, who's above you? Your boss, right? What happens if he just takes the business and he says, oh, we're not doing it anymore? You lose your job.
If the work is picking up a phone or turning on the camera as opposed to going in with a bunch of people and having to multitask tasks you have to do throughout your shift,
Yeah.
and deal with your
Tasks you gotta do
coworkers
throughout
and
the stream.
interpersonal thing. Tell me how much you do of that stuff while you are actually doing your job for however many number
Okay,
of hours
perfectly.
that you are talking and typing and shitting and eating and all that stuff that everybody's watching you do.
Go ahead.
No, but there's actually a mental aspect.
I understand that, yeah.
No. Let me hear me out.
Go ahead.
Camaraderie. Like you have like a group of people, like friendships, relationships, which is the most
Sure.
important thing in life. So do you build that with your coworkers and stuff like that? And
Sorry, bye. See you later.
Seeing a lot of flags.
What's your name?
So I'm Angelina, and I work as an executive assistant.
You're right. You're right. She's right. Hang on. She's right. She's right. I'm not gonna lie.
Back, are we back? Cool. I check 1, 2. All right, cool.
To cook for myself and get to bed in time and wake up in time to commute back to my job. You guys talk about how it's hard because there's a mental aspect, and I understand as someone who's been on social media a lot that you get
How long have you
berated.
been on social media? Just to get broad.
So I actually did content creation starting at the age of 14. When I moved to LA, I gained like 10,000 followers off the bat, and I was very young, and I started working with different brands.
Okay.
I totally understand the mental aspect. It's just that you guys can afford to say, hey, I'm gonna go wherever for 2 weeks, and that can be content, that can be your job,
Yeah.
and you actually get to relax and travel the world and have other
So
opportunities.
you're just saying a lot of points.
There's no relaxation.
If I could answer a couple. So you were saying like to go back to the beginning, you were saying like you can manage like your time with like
Yeah,
relationships.
nah, I feel like she just covered literally the, the attractive aspects, right? That's the wrong one. Right one, please. Yeah, we have the right one. Now, she's covering a whole lot of like aspects that would be deemed attractive by somebody that like is working a 9 to 5, right? And is dealing with a job that forces them to be monotonously, just habitually on their routines in terms of their tasks and what they need to get done. You know what I'm saying? Those people are screaming. Those kind of people, the 9 to 5ers, they are screaming for vacation times and times where they can kick it, get on an airplane, just go to, whatever vacation spot. Now, you being the person that being the content creator / streamer, being able to do that whenever and do that as many times as you need to create the content, right? Doing that still takes the energy, because now we're not talking about just one time vacation that you may have to do it constantly so that your content can just like, maybe let's say you're a travel streamer or some shit, travel IRL streamer. I'm saying you explore the world or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And you might the speed, you know what I'm saying? Let's look at I show speed. And now, you know what I'm saying, look at the energy, look at the toll, look at, you know what I'm saying, especially like people knowing who you are. You're a 9 to 5 worker, you go on vacation, nobody knows who you are. So you're enjoying your time, your relaxation, your moments of unwinding from the job and all of that kind of thing, right? In peace, bro. Now somebody like a Speed, I don't know if you've seen like the clips where people just go crazy on Speed, bro. Hold on, bro. Let me see if I fucking get the, the clips. They were pulling his hair and everything, bro. Check this. Now you gotta understand, bro. Look at that. Hold on. Let me put on the right scene so that y'all can see it proper. You know what I'm saying? So you as a 9 to 5 worker, you going maybe to Italy or whatever. Oh, Norway. He was in Norway. Check that. Check the title, right? Homie was in Norway. I Show Speed leaves Norway happily. Okay, whatever. You know what I'm saying? You're in Norway, bro. You enjoying your time. You having your moment in peace. Nobody is harassing you. Nobody's like doing this as you leaving the hotel that you was in. You know what I'm saying? But now look at I Show Speed, bro. Look at the vibes. Look at that, bro. They pulling on his hair. Oh.
Relationship, was that correct? Like you have your girlfriend when you go home, like.
Oh, Look at that. Look at his face, bro. They fucking you up. They messing you up, bro. You understand what I'm saying? So nobody's doing that to you like as a 9-to-5 worker. You go to Norway. You know what I'm saying? So we also have to consider these parts of it. You know what I'm saying? And you have to constantly keep doing it. I think he did it for like a whole month straight. It was a whole subathon as well. One like a type of a subathon, right? Like continue traveling, dog.
I fortunately have a support system, but I every day like ask myself how I would have been able to do it without.
So you said 14 you started. I started at 16. For about 3 years, I was making money, and it slowly went super up, and then all of a sudden it went down. Right?
Yeah,
I lost
down.
everything, fell off completely. About to myself. Real story. This is a real story. This isn't a joke. Why are you smiling?
We've all been there. Every 9-to-5 worker has been there.
So
That's
going
why.
back to what you said.
Nah, that's what I'm saying. Wasn't this the point that I was trying to make to y'all? That both of these sides, when it comes to self-deletion, man, come on, bro. Both of these sides have like ideated least.
How you have a support system. I moved across the country from my parents at the age of 19, lived alone in an apartment, was paying a certain amount of money every single month, and I was losing money. I wasn't making enough money to pay my like I had money in my bank for my rent, but I wasn't making more than my rent.
Yeah.
So I was
You
losing.
were in the red every month.
I was in the red every single month. Girlfriend broke up with me at the time, so
Damn.
alone
Double whammy.
across the country. So it's like when you're alone too and everything's going down, where's my support system?
I don't like why she laughing, bro.
Okay, so I have a question. You said that for the first 4 years you started streaming, you had no income. How are you able to survive?
I lived with my mom. I was 16.
So that to a certain extent is privilege.
That's privilege.
It is.
But my mom. How's that privilege?
How is that privilege? Because you're still 16. You actually still are expected to go to school. Any child, regardless of what you do, like in your extra time, in your spare time, like you're still a 16-year-old that needs to attend school. What are you doing outside of your mother's house? Like, yo, that statement there was so ignorant, bruh. What do you mean that's privilege? That's what's supposed to happen. He wasn't an adult yet. He was a teenager, right? And obviously that is the more sensible way of starting this whole streaming and content creation thing, is when you're still at that level, when you're still at the level where you're obligated to be at your mom's house for as long as, you know, they ain't disowned you or whatever. Be at your parents' house. And that's when the whole experimenting with this thing is supposed to start, because now once you get out the house, it has to be at a point where like it's solid enough for it to be a consistent income stream. You know what I'm saying? And that does take a whole lot of work before it even gets there, right? The brother was 16. Like, where should he have been? Under a bridge or some shit like that? Who's employing a 16-year-old on some full-time basis? Like full-time vibe, like.
It's privilege because you have the support system to have a place to live.
Well, at 15, 16, I would hope I have parents that would live.
Exactly,
Yeah, but
bro.
a lot of people don't, and they have to
What
take
is that?
9
That's
to
a whole
5.
different-
But now, is that his fault that other people don't have that kind of situation? I wouldn't even call it a privilege, because it's not privilege. It's a situation that's supposed to happen that way. So, but is it his fault that a whole lot of people don't have that kind of access to a reality?
So a lot of people don't have houses.
A lot of
when they
people
working
don't
9 to
have
5s?
families that support them or accept
But that's a
them.
whole different conversation.
fault
What
is
does that do
that?
with the 9 to 5?
Because they still need to survive. So the fact that you were given
So
the
how did you move to LA?
I moved across the country as well with my mom when I was 15 years old.
Do you not think that's privileged?
I mean, we moved into a 1-bedroom in Santa Monica and shared a trundle bed, so.
Okay, well, I was reselling shoes to afford my mom's mortgage and everything.
I get it. I've definitely helped my family out in times where I was able to, but I also had to have my family support me in order for me to have certain opportunities to make money in the first place. So if you didn't have content creation, what would you be doing?
It's a great question. I don't know, because I didn't set my goals that way. I set up my life to that. I know I would do what I want to do. If we all got paid the same every single month, let's say just in simple terms, we all got paid $100,000 a month, a crazy amount of money. Would you guys still, truthfully, I'm asking a serious question, would you guys say that all of our jobs are harder than each other, truthfully?
Yeah, if she was a nurse, she had to go to medical school for years just to be able to have her
But
foot
she
in the
knew
door.
that she was getting security because she was going to be a nurse, correct?
Not secure.
How is it not secure if you knew what you were going to do?
Nothing's secure.
Nothing's secure. You just proved my point. But you just proved my point.
No job is secure, but content creation gives you the ability to have those savings,
But
to have an audience. And even if you do lose all your followers one day,
Yeah.
even if
Let's
you
say I
lose,
lost it all tomorrow.
you still have residuals of your previous viral
But that's-
videos. Even if people are hating on you and
that's not
shitting on you,
necessarily-
that's still adding to what goes into your pocket.
There's literally doctors who do one surgery and make hundreds of $1,000s.
Because they were trained for decades and they had to go to school.
were we.
You went to school to be a content creator?
Streamer University.
Yeah, Streamer University, man. Talk about it. We got a dab full of notes.
How you doing, bro?
Good, how you doing?
Alex.
Gabe.
Gabe, how we doing?
I'm doing good. So first of all, I want to say I do respect all of you for what you do. I mean, you guys do work, but you do not work as hard as people who have a regular job.
You don't know that.
I mean, that I do know it for sure. It's very clear. People have to wake up and do their routine over and over again. It's not a daily thing, it's a weekly thing, it's a monthly thing, it's a yearly thing, it's a life thing. And if they screw up, they lose their jobs.
Look, bro, I feel like, okay, let me just, you know, take this take and then like be out your way, right? In terms of the consumption of this video. Look, there has been an oversaturation of like the kind of jobs that, you know, are replaceable. That's why the people that occupy these jobs are replaceable, especially being replaced by things like AI and machines, and you know what I'm saying, things that can come through and monotonously repeat what you were supposed to repeat and shit like that, right? It's an oversaturation. And so the fact that people are willing to pay higher for jobs that are, you know, that can be occupied by people who cannot be replaceable yet, you know what I'm saying, people that come up with the AI, people that design the AI that's here to replace you, you know what I'm saying? It's like those people have the higher paying jobs because, you know, those kind of complexities are, you know, they can only still be handled by human beings. No machine can like design another machine to do a job that you can do. You know what I'm saying? So the human mind is the only thing that still can do that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, let's talk even YouTube content creation. You feel what I'm saying? There is this rise of AI content creation that's just regurgitated by AI and faceless channels and things like that, right? But you know, I mess with YouTube's complex method of spotting out what is AI and what is real human content. You feel what I'm saying? And that's because the human content still has complexities that AI cannot get to. You know what I'm saying? It cannot get to, you know, those authentic human expressions that can like have viewers, you know, engaged in my video and their attention focused on me, because I have those authentic elements about myself that you can relate with. AI doesn't have that. It doesn't even have a face right now. You know what I'm saying? That's why we talking the rise of faceless channels and shit like that. You understand what I'm saying? So I feel like keeping yourself in, you know, I feel like this is how we can scale this shit, man. Come on. This is how we can scale why, you know, your job is less important. That should just point out the hardness, right? The hard level of just having a mind that can tap into complexities that helps solve problems. If you can understand complexities that can help solve problems, you can build an AI system that can solve a whole bunch of people's problems, instead of you know, poking your chest and beating your chest and being proud of the fact that no, you work a 12-hour job, but you do 3 to 5 tasks there, dog, and you're only frustrated at the monotony of that job. And like, this is what's stressful about it. I have to, you know what I'm saying, and being responsible and these kids and all of this shit, and I have no choice but to hang on to this job. But it's like, yo, you're doing the simplest of things, respectfully, to my 9-to-5ers. I'm still a 9-to-5er, bro. You know what I'm saying? I can talk this way. I know like you know what I'm saying? Because look, I'm a 9-to-5er and also do this, and the demand of doing this content thing is way different, bro. You understand what I'm saying? What I gotta keep in mind, what I have to understand, like what's going on here. You know what I'm saying? I have to retain your attention. I have to keep being creative and productive to a point where the quality of my content even stands out from the AI shit, because that's also part of my competition. So the mental complexity of just like what you gotta understand and what you gotta put in is more than, you know what I'm saying? Is more than that 9-to-5 role, where it's like the instruction is already laid out for you. You don't have to do any other thing creative above that. Just do what we tell you and that's it. You know what I'm saying? So now in the age of, where AI and the mind that develops AI is compensated more, it just need, it should tell you like this is what hard work is, dog. It's developing complex systems that could replace the lazy thinker. That's how, you know what I'm saying? That's it, that's all. I'm not gonna lie.
And they always have to be careful, because if they do something weird, they say something weird to their coworker or their boss, they're gonna lose their job. If you lose some followers because of something you say, you'll get other followers, and you have a large following enough where
there's cancel culture, buddy.
Enough of a range of perspectives that people will always be on board for you as long as you're producing content. People who screw up at their jobs and lose their jobs, and maybe there's a recession, there's not a lot of jobs, as could be now, they get potentially homeless or worse.
You ever heard of cancel culture?
What's that? Yeah, of course I've heard of it.
Cancel
But how many
culture,
people have been canceled and came back? I mean, it happens all the time. Your boss is not going to be loyal to you if you don't get that thing in on time 5 times.
Okay, but check it
you're
out.
done.
Okay, so listen, but to be able to get that loyal following of people that do follow you,
Yes.
you need to build that over years and years and years and hours of
That's
trust
what I'm saying.
and
Years.
communication
Sacrifice.
and intimate relationships with your audience.
Okay, so
that's not something that's just given to you.
Well, the
you
things-
don't just fall into 1 million subscribers, 2
Of
million
course
subscribers,
not.
3 million
Of course
subscribers.
not. It takes work for sure. But like what you guys are talking about in terms of like the toll it takes on you, a large part of it.
Yeah, and I was watching this documentary, this Miskiff, is it Penguin Zero documentary, right? And how he built his way up to 1 million subscribers. Right? I think he started in 2007, and by 2014 he had his 1 million subscribers. You feel what I'm saying? And if you think about it, it was 7 years. Isn't that like the same amount of time that like a doctor, you know what I'm saying, gets their qualification or gets to the point where they become a certified, surgeon, brain surgeon, what like, isn't it like around like 7-8 years or some shit like that? So it's the same amount of time, like, getting to a level where you have that 1 million subscribers. And it's not like, when we're talking about, okay, let me not point out, right? Let's just hop on to the quick word from our sponsors, then get part 2 rolling.